like to call on the membership officer for his report?
Hang on, I'm trying to find it.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me for a minute. Yeah, did you bring it?
No, I didn't actually. I pulled those papers out.
Excuse me for a second.
Excuse me, David.
Yeah?
Don't we start with the secretary, the minutes from the last one?
Oh! So, no, my apologies. I'm doing that while Jay's on.
Well, you're new, so I understand.
Minutes of the last meeting. Any questions?
Where are they?
Where are they?
The minutes from the last meeting.
Well, they're in the magazine from September and the website since September, just like they always are.
So
That's
it's
the
on
way
the
they're
website?
published.
You don't read them out at the meeting here?
No, you don't read out 5 pages. I mean, there's a copy here if anybody wants to.
Okay.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
That's the standard procedure for those because they have to be made public. So,
I just thought they'd be read here. So-
pardon?
I just thought some of it would be read here, or at least some summary of it.
Well, no, because you normally expect that everyone would have read it and they'd come with any questions or corrections.
Okay.
To be fair, honestly, there's a motion to accept the minutes in the previous meeting, which we've done almost every year for.
I know, we've done that, but I just,
Okay. Well, I make a motion that we accept last year's meeting minutes. Is there a second? Second. All in favor?
There it is.
More important.
Oh, shoot.
You have to name them.
I just need smoke, I'm trying to move this along.
You usually was there. Look who's here.
George. Okay. Jay? Are ready to?
Okay. Right now, the club has a total of 961 members, including 288 life members and 673 regular members. We have 50 new memberships since last year's convention. And we've had a net loss of 99 members in the last year. That's it.
I have a question, if I
Yes,
can.
sir.
Jay, when Roy was a membership director, he started some programs to try to increase membership and things. Have you done anything with that, or
No.
no? Do you have any plans to do anything?
No.
Okay.
From all those efforts, we got a net one new member.
Well, I'm just thinking that, we.
In actual fact, that was only because it was one that somebody on the forum had sponsored and paid their dues.
Well, I think with our numbers going down, I would think we would be a little more proactive in trying to get new members rather than just doing the documentation and all that. I would think, that's what Roy tried to do. And I think he got some results out of it. But you have no plans and nothing?
Well, the numbers don't show that, I'm afraid.
Well, is there an effort? That's the question I guess I have. Is there an effort?
There's a limit to the resources we have, Jared.
Pardon?
There's a limit to the resources we have. All these
There's not a
efforts-
limit to your effort, though. Effort is what counts here, I think. Doing something to try to get,
One of my thoughts is that we should try to go after the set collectors.
say again?
Kind of go after the set collectors and kind of combine the hobbies. I think essentially we're doing the same thing. I think there's a couple of roadblocks we have to doing it. They make some chips that might get us in
Have
trouble.
you talked to Dan?
Yeah.
Okay. He's got a lot of good ideas.
Yeah, but he's not he was kicked off the other forum,
Yeah.
the Set Collectors Forum. He's not the best person to bring in at all. He alienated all of them.
Well, sometimes that effort this way might end up with results this way, so.
Yeah, but he's barred from their forum, so he can't even talk to them. So
He started his own, right? He's got his own.
I had a
It's
long
already
conversation
signed
with
by-
Oscar about it.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah, Oscar is someone.
Yeah, I had a long conversation with Oscar about it. I think it's a worthwhile effort.
Any effort's great, just
Yeah.
trying to do something, it's right.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the membership officer's report?
So moved.
Seconded.
Aye.
Respectfully
It's
requested a brief summary of what the report said. We just walked in and I'd love to know.
We're currently at 961 members.
Thank you.
We've
Appreciate it.
lost about 100 in the last 12 months.
Thank you.
Okay.
I took the membership report first because we don't always have a treasurer's report, as it doesn't really indicate much considering that the year end was the 31st of December and we're in the middle of a convention for which we have no idea what exactly what the financial outcome of that of the show will be until around the end of June, early July, when the South Point submit their last bills. So there wasn't really much point asking Bud just to read out what's on the pieces of paper that have been in the club magazine and newsletters and on the website for 5 months. But obviously, if anybody's got any questions on what would have been in the financial report, then
I can give
you want to give us some?
just a brief little status of where we are now. At the end of March, we had just over 200,000 in the bank. This was an increase of $7,000 since the end of the year. Our revenue during this period is enhanced because we collect all the deposits for table rentals and the banquet, which on a cash basis that we use for accounting shows up as revenue now, even though the convention hasn't happened yet. And dues also play a big part of that. The expenses during this period are always the magazine and buying promotional items for the convention. So we still have some cash. That's it.
But
Yes,
I'd like to say that I think you're a godsend to this club.
I've got that what?
You're a godsend. We've had treasurers, and there's one in here he's already there, but you've done a fantastic job with the books and keeping them straight and keeping us straight. And I think that you deserve it.
You've done my best, thank you.
All right. I want my money later, okay?
You weren't supposed to mention that.
Okay.
I have a question for the treasurer. Are we getting interest on any of our funds? Because I've been noticing that banks are now, some banks are giving interest on savings
You
accounts.
should have noticed that your interest income has been going up. The banks are in the lead when interest goes down, and they lag when interest goes up. But yes, we're getting considerably more interest than we did over the last couple of years, because in the past it was practically a 1/10 of 1% or something. But yes, we get interest on all of our funds.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, can I have a motion to accept the Treasurer's report as, to say, effectively posted back in January, February?
So moved.
Seconded. If the Vice President has anything specific to formally to report, now is the time. Is the convention chairman here? Highly in the corner. Jim, if you would you like to give a report, make any comments on
Just everything's moving along real good right now. We've got, we had more dealers than last year. We've sold more tables than last year, so we're in good shape on that. Attendance has looked pretty good. Yesterday, attendance appeared to be very good for Friday. Other than that, no major problems, and everything's moving along good. Everybody hopefully is happy.
I would say good job.
Charles, is there anything you wish to report on the mow?
The major activity of the museum is the chip guide. And I've had several meetings while I'm here, and we're investigating making some changes to the chip guide in response to some of the requests that have been out there. And you should be seeing some announcements coming shortly. We already did change the chip guide usage policy, which no longer refers to copyrights. And instead, we are requesting users, if they're using our stuff, please mention where you got it from. But we are looking at several different ways to protect chip guide assets. And look for some announcements coming soon. That's all I'll say.
Question. So what, Charles, what other items are you doing for the mow, aside from the chip guide's a beautiful thing, but what else are you doing? Exhibits, trying to get membership? What's the plan here? Do you have a plan?
We do have a plan and some revenue opportunities to increase funds coming into the museum. And again, right now they're just plans that we're working out, but
You have anything you can share with us, what plans you're thinking of?
they're not fully formulated yet, so I don't want to talk about things while they're in process. But you should be seeing some announcements coming soon.
Or any chance with exhibits, increasing the amount of exhibits that we have out there?
Our exhibits person is here. Can you help me with that?
Yeah, currently we're trying to get into this property, and now I know it's difficult, but we have had a discussion with Michael John, and we're waiting to see if that will be fruitful. I hope it is. We've also been asked by the excuse me, the El Cortez to fill a display window that they have, that they would like some stuff put in there. And I've told the Adam, the GM there, that we will be providing some stuff that I've been looking around here at the convention to put some stuff in. But if you have anything that relates to downtown, give me a call. And then we are still always looking to get into places. And if anybody has any inroads, we appreciate giving us a call. And we'll work with you to make that connection good. Yes, Paul?
Have you talked to Casino Quest, their business down in the Fashion Mall? They teach crafts, blackjacks.
Oh, I've heard about them, but I haven't been over there yet.
I've talked to them, and they're kind of interested in what we are as a hobby.
Yes.
So maybe stop by there, get in contact, and maybe they might, since it's in the Fashion Mall, that would get a lot.
Right, yeah, I'm familiar with where it is, but we will do that. I've been a little tied up for the past couple months anyway. Yeah.
Are you expanding the El Cortez, or are you moving the El
No,
Cortez?
you're familiar with the El Cortez.
Exactly.
What they have is that they have a long hallway that they kind of call the history hallway.
All
All the
pictures?
photographs. And at one point in time, they had it's like a window that they have a sliding glass.
It's like a display cabinet but built into the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they want to fill that with collectibles. And so that's what I promised Adam, that
But we're gonna still have the other display, right?
they're gonna have photographs, but they're trying to enhance that walkway, that hallway.
Okay.
And,
But are you still gonna have the one across from the Players Club?
oh, yeah,
as well as that?
That's-
oh, yes, yes,
That's unaffected.
yeah, this will be in addition to that.
Okay.
We have this history walkway here downstairs
I know.
by the elevators, and the shame of it is it's so narrow that if anyone really stops to look at whatever, people can't get by with cases and things. That's a shame, because it's a great walk, with a lot of thoroughfare. They could have made that a bit wider when they built it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's, well, okay.
Jim, is there any advantage to having displays in downtown Henderson, or are you looking for more higher traffic areas?
I think that there's an advantage to having a display nearly anywhere.
Because that area is really growing, and there are a couple of progressive casino operators.
You remember Max Milo?
Oh, yeah,
Okay, well, he's got a bar and restaurant here,
yes.
and you should go talk to him, because he knows all those people, and he might get you at least in the door.
Yeah, no, I have his number, and,
We'll go see him,
Yeah.
you know, he's very,
no, no.
you saw him at our meeting, you know,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
very personable, and he's a member, so.
That cover that?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay.
Well, hold it, I want to augment it a little bit, I'm sorry. I got called by the plaza, and of course, we have an exhibit there. They are looking for stuff or items that are large and can withstand weather. Kind of like the tops of taxi cabs, the advertising signs from back, you know, in the 70s. That would be a good example. They want to put some stuff in their plaza where they created a new area. And
The
it's
carousel
outdoors.
bar?
Or the other, yes. And so they asked if we had anything, and I put the word out to people, do you have anything? And so far, nothing, all right? I also get contacted by the Mob Museum, and I put all this in the newsletter. They're looking for stuff from time to time. And their most recent request, we couldn't support, but we're still in touch. And I put it in the newsletter, looking for, all right, thank you, sorry about that.
Who's in charge of taking care of the contract agreements for loaners? You did it for a while, and Quinn Livin was doing it, so who's doing it now?
Well, I'm doing it now.
So you are keeping up with it?
The records ended up with me. Okay.
And everything's current with that?
I believe so. I know that there's some stuff that is very old that I haven't even had the opportunity to look at. So
Do you have the discs that Quinn gave you?
if he gave me a disc, I have it.
I think I have 3 of them.
Oh,
If you want them, I'll give them to you
Okay.
next meeting if I find
it
them.
doesn't hurt, but I
No,
give
they're all his records that he had,
Yeah.
so maybe,
Right, no, I got folders from him, and I'm pretty sure I have the disc, but feel free to just.
but you're doing it, right? You're doing that now?
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty sure Barry Houtman probably has something from external from various casinos that
Himself.
might be useful. Something off a roof somewhere.
Oh, I thought Barry was here.
No, it's not.
I did tell the plaza to reach out to Hammergren. He might have something in his backyard. Lonnie Hammergren.
Oh,
You know he died.
Yes.
Don't expect a response.
You know he died
last week.
last week.
He died.
No,
Yes.
Oh, my
Yeah, it was
God.
in the front page of the RJ.
Alrighty, that's it, thank you.
Okay,
We spoke there.
Mary Ann.
Yes. Is the election report for 2023. The election was for president, secretary, membership officer. 16 nominations received, none were voided. The following members received a minimum of 2 nominations from members per the requirements. Richard Huber did receive 1 nomination for membership chairman. The nominees' responses of whether they accepted or declined are as follows. For president, James Hogg and Jerry Bragados declined. David Sprague accepted. For secretary, Jim Follis, Jay Sands, and Wendy Schultz declined. James Hogg accepted. Membership chairman, Doug Baldoni, Steve Beadle, and Pam Focasio declined. Jay Sands accepted. Jay had resigned from the secretary position in order to run for the membership officer. Therefore, President Sprague appointed James Hogg to the position of secretary immediately following this nomination. There was no need then for an election of officers, but there was a proposed constitutional amendment, and that required a 2/3 majority of those voting to pass. On Sunday, May 28th, Bruce and Mary Ann Massey, election chairman, counted the ballots for the constitutional amendment, which would add 2 non-voting members at large to the CCA Board of Directors. The outcome of the votes cast is as follows. We had 68 ballots, 1 voided due to an expired membership. We had 52 yes, 15 no. It passed with 77.6% of the 67 votes. There will be no special election for these positions. The nomination and voting process will coincide with the regular elections in 2024. As an aside, the 67 ballots represent 0.07% of our active members as of May 27th. At this time, I request the Secretary to certify the above elected Board of Directors officers and the approved constitutional amendment. Mr. Secretary?
So I hereby cast 1 vote on behalf of the CCA Board of Directors.
Thank you. Thank you. Questions? Or?
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, sir, I'm not saying anything.
Okay. I would, on behalf of everybody in here, everyone on the club, everyone you worked with and served with for years and years and years, this is Bruce and Mary Ann's last term as election chairpersons. So I'd like to place it on the record a huge thank you from everyone involved. And also note that we are will be looking for a replacement. Any paperwork you had, if you pass it to James, because if he's the one who will need to look at anything if necessary. But
It's not too bad, James.
I have to say, I never looked back since Belinda passed me 2 crates of stuff back in. I didn't destroy any of that stuff back in, I don't know, 12 years ago. I never actually opened either of them, so.
I did, I'm sorry.
I just have a quick question. I'm new, so, to these meetings. Is there a reason why we don't hold the election during the convention timeframe to increase that vote amount? I mean, you can still mail in, have people mail in, and then vote over the 3 days, and then tally up after the convention.
Well, I
Just a question.
Other than the fact that you have to certify in new members at the convention is the only time of year you can. So if you can't swear in new members, if you're getting votes right now, somebody still has to tally them all up. That's what I'm.
And
I was just thinking you might be able to.
Well,
really come in and just vote and drop it in the
yeah,
box.
but there still needs to be some verification process. And the point is that our constitution only provides for a secret ballot. So, the mailing, we would have to. Not saying it's impossible. The structure we have at the moment doesn't allow for it. If somebody can somehow come up with, a system that.
I know some people just like to vote.
And I had a quick question. Also.
Congratulations.
We'll try and put up a polling station.
Well, I mean, if you show your membership cards, then
And it's great.
give them.
Yeah, I see. You'd have to change the time of the annual meeting, but it's eventually, you can't do it all at the same time.
So in relation to the 2 new board positions that were just approved on the amendment.
Yes?
Are those, and they take place, they start in 2024, are they going to be nominated just like we nominate?
They will be nominated just like the other positions, and one will run for a period of 2 years, one will run for a period of a year, after which there'll be 2 years just like the existing positions.
Thank you.
Why would they non-voting? I'm just curious. Why did you make them voting positions?
Okay, Jerry, what happens when you have a constitutional amendment is that a member writes in and says, I would like to put forward this constitutional amendment. The board does not get involved.
I'm asking for your opinion. Why do you think it was a good idea?
Okay,
Or do you think it was a good idea?
let's say that only the member that put this in, Brenda, insisted that they would split so that there wouldn't be, you wouldn't possibly have 5 out of 7 board members all resigning at the same time, so that it would be split. You could have a scenario where you only have one person nominated for the two positions each time, and you have a permanent even number of people. And we don't provide for anyone on the board to have a casting vote when there's a tied vote. So she sort of recognised that in comparison to other boards she sat on and said, well, we'll put it forward as this, and if somebody else wants to try and justify why that should change, then they can put their own amendment forward themselves. So that's...
Well, I got her reasoning, I'm just
Yeah.
curious what you...
Well, Michael Siskin went with it as well. We did, it was run past him. He helped to word it, in fact. So, if anyone wants to change it, I mean, and let's...
No, I'm not saying to change it, I'm just curious why.
No, I'm hoping we get at least one person who is a local resource
And if you don't...
to help with these
If
things.
no one's
Where
nominated, you'll appoint somebody?
What happens to
we don't have the power to do that. We don't have the power to do that. Unfortunately, we only have the power to nominate within the second year of a term. It's just the way the Constitution is. Most of these things were never been issues for 25 years. Now things have become more complicated. Well, as you found as well when you were sitting here, it's very, very difficult to rewrite the whole thing from scratch and try and get everybody to understand and vote for it. But maybe we'll have to. Yes, Mark?
Under parliamentary procedures, being the parliamentarian for 8 years for A&A, doesn't matter if there's an even number. Somebody abstains, somebody's absent from the vote. You have to have a majority. So if there are 6 people voting, you need 4 to pass a motion. If it's 3 and 3, the motion doesn't pass. So it doesn't matter if there's an even number or odd number according to parliamentary procedures. I just want that on the record.
Yeah, but if we have a decision as to whether we're going to invest $3,000 here or $3,000
It still
there,
doesn't matter.
Why?
If it's a split vote, it doesn't pass. Doesn't
Exactly.
matter. Right.
So then you don't invest in either of them.
Right.
So that will hold us back potentially.
Okay, I'm just saying.
That's the thinking. I say if somebody wants to put forward a change to yet another change to alter that, then fine. I just say hope we get some resource with energy to, we could use. I mean, we could always use additional volunteers in this area geographically because all the things we've mentioned that could use help, exhibits, etc., are all, here. That's the end of the formal reporting. I mean, at this point, I've got a few things to say, bringing all my roles in together. I'll go over several things, and this might actually answer some of the questions that are likely to be put forward in advance. Unfortunately, the big screen behind me did get taken away this morning. I didn't want to spend, was it 450, Jim, to keep it in there? Because I was going to put the laptop up and give you all a preview of the new club website. You'll have to wait a week or two until...
Why couldn't it be displayed just on the wall? Why do we need a screen?
It's a computer, it's on the internet.
Huh?
It's on the internet.
It's connected to
But I want to get to the stage where I together with the guy that created it, Michael Brodeur, who was actually with me here yesterday, we want to get to the point where we put it up and actually, before it's totally finalised, ask for comments for additional things that might be required, changes, etc. Although it's pretty easy to alter on, as we go along, the way it's been written. Yes, right.
Do we have a place to put videos on that site or pictures?
Pictures, yes. Videos I want to talk to him about, because the thing is, he said that if you want the same sort of video viewing software that YouTube uses, you're paying a fortune. The whole point is that YouTube does that all for you, but he can embed it in such a way you don't even know it's YouTube. Yeah.
I guess the question I'm asking has got nothing to do with YouTube. I'm gonna record the videos and get it on a file. I wanna be able to take that file and directly insert it into our webpage.
No, you have to. That's not going to happen.
Okay, what about pictures?
Pictures will happen.
the-
Pictures only take up 1/100th of the space of the video. One of your videos is as big as all 6,000.
Oh, I understand that. So
years.
so the
it's
argument is the size of the room, the
The solution to
space
that,
available.
the solution to that is just to create a CCA Facebook page or YouTube page.
We have it.
I mean,
That's
we have
where
it,
all the
and
videos
it's
are.
better than that.
They're on the CCA.
That's Facebook page, so
No,
YouTube.
they're on the CCA YouTube channel. All the convention videos going back to
Why don't I know about
2007
that?
or whatever. That's
I
where
don't-
they've always
I didn't
gone.
Wait,
know
wha-
there was
wha-
a CCA.
when was that established?
Oh, 15 years ago?
Why?
No, maybe 10, 12 years ago.
I would have thought that everybody in this room would have known about it. I don't know about it.
It's linked on somewhere on that Facebook page, if you go down.
Okay, I'll go looking.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
Everybody's asking me, where are the
You want them on
videos?
Facebook. Facebook is advertised to
I don't want
people.
them on Facebook. I want them on,
On YouTube, I mean, because
Okay, yeah, that's
they've
fine.
got 4 billion viewership.
that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm learning about
but
this
they'll
right
be
now.
replicated. They'll be replicated onto the
All right.
the club site. Yes.
So all these meetings and all these seminars are all on,
Well, you've got up to the year before last all up there live. Still working on one. Yeah.
How do you find the CCA YouTube page? You just click on the,
Go to YouTube and do a search. Go to YouTube and do a search for CCA.
and say CCA,
Yeah. Or alternatively.
No, it's right on the,
If you go to any one of those, go to one of those videos and then
Right.
click on it, open
I
it.
want to tell them where it is.
Yes, it
Well,
will.
I want to tell them
Oh,
where it
okay.
is.
Yeah.
Go to the CCA, website, reference center, and almost it's the second paragraph, convention videos. You tap on it, and it shows links to convention videos. And so tapping on one,
That's as far as I updated on the old site. But if you tap on one, yeah, it shows, and then you get a thumbnail for each one for that year.
it's all the sections of this convention, which just happens to be from 2007. It was the banquet, first time workshop, the guide gurus, so
But then if you click on any one of those,
Jim, do you have a tutorial on the
you should
newsletter
get
about
the
this?
channel
and
name show up at the bottom.
and it
If
plays
you
the
don't,
video.
then we'll add it.
Do you have a
We'll add it
tutorial
on
in the newsletter about how to do that?
I'll do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim, give that to me and I'll put it on Facebook too, so people know how to do it off that.
Okay.
But the photos and videos are on together. So I talked to Chuck and Jim yesterday. Are actually the stage that we are currently working on the new site. So again, when we've got something in draft, you can have a look and say, yeah, that's okay, or can't we put more there? Whatever.
Mhm.
You have a look and before we go live.
All right.
And I'll ask him about if there's any way to simplify the upload so that you could
Right.
yourself put it up. I'll ask him that as well. We can do it for the photographs. We can do it
Uh-huh.
because it's pretty static,
Right.
and it will just, as long as they go into the right category, it will block them like 2, 3, or 4 across, whatever, depending on the device you're using, and it will automatically do that and fill the page down. So,
thank you for the hours you put in working on this.
Well, I didn't put in quite so many hours on this website development this time around because a collector from Arizona, who's head of software development at Rogers Corporation, kindly put his hand up and said, I'm sorry to hear what happened before. Do you mind me seeing where you were going? And at that time, that old page was still up there from where it was gone.
Be careful, there's another side to all this, you know.
But
You
anyway,
don't want to start that up, do you?
I showed him, and we had a discussion, and he agreed that if you went out and you did this properly from the start, you're talking 15 to 20,000, and he'd happily do it free of charge. And he's done that.
Whose server is he going to use? Is he using your servers?
Pardon?
Whose server is he going to use?
Whose server?
The server for the website.
At the moment, it's on one privately owned by him, and then if we need to move that, then it's going to go to Barry Sherwood.
Are you going to move it, or you don't know?
We don't know. Well, he said I can transfer you that box, that sector of that box, transfer that to the club, and you take up the contract and whatever, so that it's yours. Or you can move it to somewhere else. So that depends on whether we want an extra cost or not. If we don't want an extra, it can go to Barry.
What would the cost be then if he's using his server? Is there a cost?
It's a couple of hundred a year.
A year?
Yeah, it's a minimum.
How do you address? You know, there's obviously been a wave of new websites coming on, the Poker Chip and all these guys.
Yeah.
And they've got thousands and thousands of members. And how are we as a club going to try to get ahead of this and not look like we're getting behind it?
Well, they're not collectors.
What are they?
They're poker players. They're poker players.
Well, I went to a meeting last night, and they look like they're collectors to me. They collect sets, some of them, and I mean
they buy sets of closed casinos, basically. Yeah, they buy sets, but they're not interested in individual chips. They think individual chips should be worth absolutely nothing, right? And they're actually trying to rubbish what we mainly do. That's the issue, and that's why we want to try and do something to bring some of them together. But on the Poker Chip forum, they do everything they can to make the most valuable chip. You know, to tell people it's only worth a few dollars. Nothing's worth.
But isn't that subjective? What we think is good, they don't. I mean, it's all a market-driven thing, isn't it? The market drives these prices up. We all look at eBay, or we look at what's selling last and all this, and then we create that valuation. Just like you guys do with your book, the chip wreck. How do you come up with those valuations? Jay, I'm sure what you check all kinds of selling, and that's how you come up with it. So it's all based on subjective.
So Jerry, to answer one of your questions, they did make us our own section on the Poker Chip forum that we are now engaging with them.
Oh, have you done anything with it yet? Because Dan said to me you haven't made a single post.
On where?
No.
On the poker.
Are
I'm
you
sorry,
talking
not
about-
Poker Chip forum.
No, I'm saying
forum.
The office is the same.
I gotta talk to you, it's an email thing, kind of, I didn't want to create a new account because I'm using my personal account. I want to make a social media director account that can be passed from one social media director.
Yeah.
So once I get that figured
Yeah.
out, Dan, yes, I will be on that one. Poker Chip forum, we are on, they actually gave us our own space. I put all of the stuff I put on Facebook.
Well, he set us up too.
Yeah, that's a partial answer actually. We've got in there. Tommy actually
Tommy did.
invited us to have our own section.
What I'm
in there
basically
for
saying
it.
is we need to be involved in a lot of these
Yeah,
things
yeah.
because if we're isolated, we don't
Yeah,
grow.
no, we were invited in.
And there's a spot there. It says CCA.
So just there.
It's right on the main page. of
Well, I mean,
CCA.
it's there.
I think we're next to it, right next to it, I think.
Yeah, it's like collection news, and then we're right about it. If you go there, we're there.
Yeah, collector's corner.
A lot of the stuff that will be on Facebook is also going there, and we'll go into the new Poker Chipper. The element can do all three at the same time.
So the website is good. What else? What else are plans here? What else are you thinking of doing? To get this club moving in a different direction? Do you have any thoughts? Any ideas?
Okay, well, all the questions you've asked, Jerry, over the last few months have all been about finances.
About
About
well,
finance.
That was it, but that was the impetus of what we do
Yeah,
to
but
make it better.
I'm going to answer because you kept saying I
I know,
didn't
but
answer
I didn't
the
seem
question.
like I got an answer, just.
I answered
you want
the financial
increase
questions
membership,
and-
you want to do this, you want to do that, that's what I want to know.
And I also sent you some things in confidence because I thought it would
Well,
I thought it would be embarrassing to publish those
It's,
things.
no, I think it's, if we're here
If you want
discussing
them
club
published,
business, then that's what
I'll
it is.
publish them. But anyway, as Bud mentioned, we're in a. Well, the question you kept asking was, what are we going to do to arrest the deficit from last year? We're already in credit this year.
You're doing what?
We're already in surplus so far this year.
Okay.
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 The auction raised more money than it's raised for the last 10 years or so.
All right.
Because it's 90% donated. We're sitting on a massive amount of donations at the moment, partly due to a lot of efforts from David Sarles alone and some joint efforts from myself and David. We are currently holding something like $1.2 million worth of chips. And in addition to the club auction, David has suggested that we not only put some of the chips up that we won't use for auction on sale on the club website, and indeed on eBay, and that David has offered to help do that, with the aim of a target of raising another 10,000 a year from that. And the other last point that was raised, which was regarding the storage facility over in Henderson or whatever, the answer to that one is we're going to get rid of it.
Okay.
I would like to just clarify one thing, please.
Yeah.
The donations that he's talking about for the auction and whatnot is not what people, members, are donating to the MOG or to the CCA. We're not selling that stuff, okay?
No, this is
This is separate.
specific donations for the club auction.
Yeah.
But there are way too many to ever be absorbed within the club auction, so therefore we're going to take the opportunity to sell some of them on an ongoing basis as well.
I understand that part of making the club better financially, but what about growing the club outside? The auction is great because it deals with our people here, but what about the general public? What are we doing out there to get them in here? I mean, the website's going to help a lot.
Yeah, well it is, because the main thing that's been going on the main message I've been getting from Brad Smith over the last year is there's a hell of a lot more I can do if you got the new website. Because of the way his press releases are picked up. It's almost that robots go through these press releases and they look for selected things and they follow links or whatever and they determine what's actually what's actually usable. So when Brad reports that maybe we got some PR, we were in a magazine that we hadn't submitted an article to, or we were mentioned on a channel somewhere or another, that's because these robots picked it up and flagged it as,
I get that. Brad's done a great job.
and that will happen more. The whole point is that will
We
happen
need
more.
a national presence, I think. We need to be nationally known, not just.
Well, he is, of course, he is covering the national area. Regarding locally, yeah, I'd like to see the MOG exhibit expand. I know multiple other opportunities, but you can't cope with that, and we need more manpower. And that's why one of these extra board positions would be absolutely ideal if one was locally situated, because as you know, in theory, the idea is that the board determines what duties either director at large would take up, and if there's somebody here who would be good for the role, then one of those roles would be to go out there and build on what we've got and spread the word around here.
The last time I was on the board, the MOG board, I checked, and it was 180 members, CCA members that live here. And, those are the ones that if you're talking about trying to get local help, that's the ones you want. But the MOG, in my opinion, has always been that the MOG is the future of our club, because it will expand into a lot of other areas that we can. And I think we need to push that more of anything. And, it's just a matter of effort. And finding people that are willing to do that, that's not easy.
Well, we've had, remember, as you know, last time when you were on the mobile, you had a report commissioned when we were looking into, looking into a space. The answer was almost identical, word for word, as the report we were given 10 years previously. Yeah? So we already knew the answer. Basically, if we want to expand this, somebody needs to cough up 3 million, somebody needs to put up $1 million a year. That was the bottom line. And I mean, yes, it was all very well and good. We went and looked at Circus at the space that they had potentially available at that time. Now, just think, if a casino says, well, yeah, you can have this area, so you go in and you refit it and you get it all open, and then somebody on the border MGM says, we're going to use that space at Circus for X, Y, Z. We've lost all our money and we're out next week.
Well,
So there is a huge risk in taking up a space that a casino offers like
well, the
that.
proposal I was trying to work on
Ask Steve Cutler.
would have eliminated all that. It would have been a contract that they could not have come in and done it.
Well, I don't think they would have done it, to be honest. I don't think they would have done it.
You don't know until I made the proposal. I just got I cut off at the knees.
But we would have still needed a huge amount of cash flow to make that work.
Well, it was 50. The bid I got to refurbish, because we didn't have to build anything, was 57,000, and we could have done a fundraiser and raised it. And as far as the space that was available was 9,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Okay, we could have.
I did go there.
We could have eliminated all our storage spaces and put everything there, which counts to how much? $7,000, $8,000
Well,
a year.
hang on.
It was a 9,000 square foot space,
Yeah.
and the whole back, they had room for an office building, or office area, a theater, a library, storage, and all these vignettes, and a gift shop.
We didn't get to see all of the back.
Well, you saw the shell.
It was roped off,
But
yeah.
I never got to the point of making the proposal because my legs got cut off.
Yeah, on the museum having a permanent location, we brought in a museum consultant.
That's what I just referred to for the second time.
To educate the board.
Yeah.
And the major thing that we learned is successful museums, do not operate dependent on paid admissions to the museum.
No.
They
normally have.
They exist on having patrons that are pledging enough money to cover the museum's expenses.
Yeah.
Because something comes along, and negatively affects attendance, then you don't have money to pay the employees, to pay your rent and your utilities and whatever other expenses you have. And had we gone into a space at the Circus with the pandemic, it would have wiped us out.
Yeah.
I disagree.
And we also would have to start doing employees,
Well,
they're not geared for that.
That just happened in Los Angeles, the Mark Taper Forum.
You probably
Suspended operations because I guess COVID messed them up and they're closing that.
Yeah. Charles, you'd almost certainly have to give a bond. You'd have to put the money down, even to Circus. You'd have to deposit $3 million somewhere as a backup.
When I talked to the
That's
president
how-
of the space, the president of the Circus, he said, put together any deal you got and show it to me. The deal that I was working on would have been a five-year with a contract with a 5-year extension, and no rent, percentage rent of the gift shop only, okay? And as far as I talked to Kerry Burke, we could have gotten docents to work the place for free. We could have had volunteers from the local. It wasn't, I built stores for $40,000, and that would have been a cakewalk to do. Believe me, I've done it, and so, but I never got the chance to perform that, or to say that. Everybody got scared because Sandra Harris, we paid her $14,000.
Yeah, to give you a copy of the same report from 15 years earlier.
Yeah,
which
and
cost
so we
$10,000.
paid
We
somebody,
had that.
we had an action.
Standard report.
We had a business plan, then we had to come back for an action plan, and we've done nothing with it. But the point is, I'm saying, we came this close. I had
By the way,
Steve Palumbo, you know, and he said afterwards, before, you know, he said, show it to me, and I said, what's the use? He was already down by the board.
Yeah.
And, you know, on the board, both board, we have, I mean, we've got 1,000 people up there that are experts, I mean, all across there, but we've done nothing with it. I mean, it's scary, and it's disheartening to see all that. You know, how many advisors do we have? I mean, they're all well-known, they're, you know, but
They're all well known, but then when they're asked to help participate, they disappear.
well, yeah, and you're right, and that's why,
I know.
why do we have them then if they're disappearing? Get
So-
some people in there that you can, you know, you got Mark Hall Patton running around, he's retired. He, you know, he'd come out and give you a hand if you needed something, but, and he has offered assistance, but, you know, they're only limited. And so I think we need to do something with that.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
All right, Jason.
I know before, yeah.
Yeah, just-
I'm just going to say one thing. I've only got about 6 or 7 minutes left because Las Vegas, the local radio station, who we have paid for ads on and were being plugged all day yesterday for people to come today, are broadcasting their show for the first 2 hours from the floor this morning, and I'm on at 9 o'clock apparently, and I was told I didn't have a choice.
Come here. Come here. Come here.
It's a radio, Jerry.
I can still see you.
I got caught on that one.
We had them at our fall show.
Well, no, what do you mean they can see me?
Pardon?
They can see me. They're there in the hall. They're setting the booth up.
They'll find you.
Recording booth.
You'll get your face up there.
Paul?
All right, so Jerry, to answer your question on how are we gonna grow the
Yeah, we had TV.
club with going outside, well, Facebook is gonna be one avenue that we're gonna use, but we can't just rely on making posts on the CCA. So I'm trying to work through the multiple CCA, CCGTC Facebook pages we have and determine which one is the actual one that we're gonna go for. Because the one I think I wanna use, I can actually join other pages. So it's contacting these other page owners who are outside of our, well, if I post it on CCA, I'm just talking to myself or talking to us.
Yeah.
So we need to get into other Facebook pages like Las Vegas, all the Las Vegas ones that are local, the poker room ones, every one of them, and try to get into them and not try to over inundate them with stuff, with what's every day. I'm trying to just do a couple posts in those big forums.
You need people to share.
And you also need people to share.
And you see what you'll find on
Right.
the forum. For example, on Poker Chip Forum, there are some professional poker players
Right.
in there. If you can go in and you can find and befriend the right people, there are people posting who have got 3 million followers, not 600. So
We're working that. I just started, so give me some time to work
Yeah.
it out. But
Yeah,
we're,
and
Paul's only
I'll
been working
comment
on
that
this.
the
He's
stuff
done-
you've already done has been very
he's
beneficial.
done a really good job in a couple of months
it's coming.
promoting the show.
It's coming. I've already got subscribed to, like, James completely has his bottles one where I posted stuff in there. So it's all in the red and all those are collectors. So it's just getting to these other pages that are not our pages and then putting out the word. Also, if you'll notice the Facebook page and hopefully the date's right, I'm going to post the dates for next year's convention at 1 minute after close today. And I'm going to post that every month, because that's the biggest thing I hear on Facebook and Poker Chip Forum and forums. They don't know when the convention is, and it's like already made plans. So I'm going to put it out the day today when next year's convention is, and it's going to be a reminder every month because I don't want to really have anybody say I didn't know about it.
Yes.
So,
Yes, George.
How many more years do we have here?
We have one more year until Monday anyway.
And after that?
They actually called me and said if you want another contract, you need to come in on Monday morning because they've got a long list of people waiting. This place is
Who are you dealing with?
extremely busy.
Who do you deal with?
Well, Mo's gone.
She's gone?
Yeah, there's only one. John. I mean,
John I can't say Casanaro or whatever. But
Yeah.
Mo's gone though, that's too bad.
I'm going to see John. John, I get on well with. I went out for a drink with John last year
Good.
after the show. And Brad Hayden is his new sort of number 2 who replaced Mo. And is Jim still there? What's the girl's name again?
Penny.
Penny, that's what it was.
Penny's great.
And Penny then works for him. So he asked me to come up on Monday morning. The only thing I'd like to change, so to speak, significantly is to see if I can get them to do some sort of deal on the tables and chairs that at least equates what we were paying for the rental ones. Now, I understand before there was that when they were renting tables in themselves to rent to us or other people, then it couldn't be done cheaply. But during COVID, they bought out the largest rental supply company in Vegas, and they got like 6,000 tables or whatever, all stacked up in the cup. So they can't make the excuse now. And the tables and chairs are sitting literally out the back of the hall at the moment, while we're renting other ones. So there's no way they can say, well, we don't have anything, we'd have to go out and rent them. So if I could just pin them down to something that equates to what we're paying for the rentals, to be honest, the rental ones are pretty poor condition.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Look like they've been stored out in the desert for 3 months. It's a bit disappointing, even worse than last year. Other than that, I think unless something gets brought to our attention, I think we've been happy with it all. Certainly the services they provided, as helpful as always, as helpful. So, that's all I've got to, all I have to say.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second, triple.
Yeah.
My first case.